Hey, thanks for clicking this morning only after school podcast. I'm Jesse Johns,
And I'm Trent Kelsey.
and today we have a very special episode from a movie that me and Trent just recently watched. We just recently watched the new Top Gun movie, which I have the original right here.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick. They brought it back. And right off the bat, do you just want to say how you felt about it? I thought it was great. I thought it was a great theater experience.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of the best movie experience that I ever seen in the theaters in a long time. Especially this one because it's a wild ride, and this is definitely a great movie to go watch.
Yeah, it was super cool. So you've seen, when did you first see Top Gun?
I got this copy, this Top Gun. I got this when I was in elementary. I was in sixth grade, so I've been 12 years of age now, I think. I never knew. I mean, I was starting to get into the Tom Cruise movies, right? And
Right.
when I was a kid, Tom Cruise is a cool guy to me, cool guy, and the Top Gun was one of the movies I got for Christmas that one year, and I watched it with mom and dad when I was a kid, and I absolutely love Top Gun. One of my favorites that I watched. And then when I saw the trailer for this Top Gun, I was like, "Geez, why decide to make a 30+ years movie, right?" And then when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh shoot!" And
Yeah.
I had a blast watching this. What about your experience, Trent?
So we kind of talked about this with Seth Kirkman on the last episode. We were kind of talking about the fatigue of the remakes and all that stuff. But this one, I think this one was special. When we watched the movie, it just felt enjoyable. It was fun, and there was really not much to it. And I think that they try so hard with these remakes to kind of cash in on that nostalgia. But for this one, they had a few moments of that. But in this one, it was just kind of like a straightforward movie. You had Tom Cruise, you had the mission, you had the new recruits, you had the flying, and they did a great job directing the action scenes. It was really fun to watch. And me personally, I hadn't seen Top Gun. I actually watched it the night before we went and saw Top Gun Maverick. So I didn't grow up with it. I didn't know any of the lines, any of the iconic scenes or characters. And going straight from the movie 30 years ago right into the sequel, I still really enjoyed it.
Do you have the original Top Gun movie, Trent?
Nope.
You don't have the original Top Gun? Interesting. No, I'm just kidding.
I got it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom loves Top Gun, and she actually got this like a year or so ago. And when I actually went to watch it the night before, it was actually still in the wrapper. So sometimes we get movies and we just never get around to watching it. But that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll remake everything, so I won't have any more excuses anymore.
Right, and they're still selling Top Gun for like $5. Not this version. It's just one. So Tom Cruise name in it.
What's the version you got?
It's the widescreen special collector's edition. That's why.
I think that's the same one I got.
And it came with 2 discs, of course.
Oh, would you look at that?
Oh yeah, you're the same thing, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the shiny metallic font. Kind of see that, and even on the back, the little text. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Well, we want to discuss it a little bit. Fair warning: there will be spoilers, of course.
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Otherwise, we're going to spoil the movie for you if we talk about it, which we are.
Right.
Well, the cast in the movie, of course, Tom Cruise is back as Maverick, and of course, Val Kilmer in it for just a little bit. But also, we got some new characters. We also got Miles Teller is one of them. Jennifer Connelly is one of them, and we also have uh, the people, I can't think of their names at the moment. Oh, John Hamm from Mad Men, he's in it.
John Hamm's in it. Ed Harris is in it for just a little bit. He's only in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the characters who played Hangman, because I seen him before, I just can't picture him.
Right.
And
I was scrolling through the IMDb after I went and saw it, and I didn't really recognize anything that he was from.
I should go ahead and share a screen, Trent.
He was in The Dark Knight Rises as Traitor Number One, but Traitor Number One, that he I don't know, who knows, he could have just been an extra.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, he was in The Expendables 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yep. He was one of the new guys in the background. And also you got Bob and Phoenix, but them two I actually do like in this movie, you know.
Oh, and which one was who was that?
Bob and Phoenix.
Oh yeah, Bob. I know Bob. That's Louis Pullman. He was in a really good movie called Bad Times at the El Royale. John Hamm was actually in that one too. Chris Hemsworth is in it. Jeff Bridges is in it. Cynthia Erivo is in it. It's a really great movie. It's kind of like a classic. I think it's set in the 60s. It's all set in this hotel called the El Royale, just on the border of Arizona and California, I believe.
Yeah.
Or Nevada and California, one of them. Anyway, it's a really interesting movie, and I recognized him from that.
I seen that movie before. I liked it, but I don't remember much about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
remember it being very different.
Right.
I mean, it kind of had homages to certain directors, but it was really cool to see something like that come out today.
Right, and also Phoenix. How I recognize Phoenix. I was trying to search what movies and TV shows she was in. She was in a few episodes of Stubtown, which I watched. Just it only lasted one season.
I haven't heard of that. What is that?
It's a Colby Smulders show, and yeah, a Colby Smulders show. She's basically like not really a cop, but she's like a private detective or something like that. So
okay.
She basically goes undercover and all that. It's actually not a bad show. So
cool.
But unfortunately, only lasts one season.
I'm still waiting for Mindhunter season 3. That's just me.
And I can't think of any other characters. The plot of this movie is basically Tom Cruise's Maverick. He's basically been in the Navy for 30 plus years now. And, he's still doing the same. And
he hasn't moved up. He's people know that he has like the capabilities, but he really hasn't risen in the ranks just because of his character,
Yeah, because, in the first Top Gun, he was a bit of a showboat,
Mm-hmm.
And, he's a bit of a showboat and he's still trying to kick him, and he does something in the beginning of the movie trying to do a test time, and Ed Harris's character comes in. He was really impressed, and he basically told Maverick that the reason I'm calling you in my office because you're going back to Top Gun, and this is and
first he was pretty upset with him, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was like, since you beat that record, you're going back to Top Gun,
Mm-hmm.
That sort of thing. I can't remember the exact line,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Who knows?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We haven't done a podcast in a while. I've been sick.
His line was, "You got balls, kid."
Yeah.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when he go back to Top Gun. And then he goes to this bar for a drink, celebration, right? And that's when Jennifer Connelly's character comes in. And then that's when you've seen some new characters when it comes to Top Gun. And that's when you've seen Miles Teller's character who plays Rooster, who plays his Goose's son.
Right. And he's at the piano playing the same song, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So they had
great balls to fire.
Right. Yeah, they had little homages here and there, but I mean, it never it felt meaningful. It never distracted from like what was really going on. And I actually didn't expect Val Kilmer to be in the movie. I didn't see him in the trailers. I didn't watch all the trailers, but I didn't see him. And I heard that he was kind of like in a state right now where he's not doing very many movies. but they were able to work around that and bring him on, and I thought that was very cool. I wasn't expecting that.
He had throat cancer, didn't he?
Yeah, and they did something like in the movie, like in the movie, his character had throat cancer, and he had to communicate through the computer, and yeah, I didn't see that coming, but it was very cool. Yeah.
It was pretty cool, and also I don't want to get the whole movie away, but we're going to say some few things. Spoilers.
Well, if they're watching right now, they either don't care about spoilers or they've seen it. So
exactly. So for spoiler-free people, just go watch the movie. But people who have seen it, stay.
Right.
In the movie, you can tell he's texting Maverick. Iceman this, and because in the movie, because Rooster wants to fly, and he wants to do the mission. The problem is though, Maverick is having a bad feeling it's going to repeat. Because what happened to Goose in the first movie,
mm-hmm.
and he couldn't save Goose, and he's having a feeling he's not going to save Rooster. But the only way he could save and help Rooster if he actually let him go up there. And of course, either way, he won't forgive Maverick. For some reason, he hated Maverick in this movie.
Yeah, because he blamed him for his father's death.
Yep, that's right. And in the original movie, he was not being a showboat. He was trying to do the job, but it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And poor Goose, and we had some pretty couple close calls watching this movie because a couple of characters were like, "Oh, come on, just eject now!" And of course, ejected the last minute before the plane blows up.
Yeah, something I didn't expect going into this movie was that nobody dies. I mean,
yeah,
nobody who's flying, gets shot out of the sky or crashes or whatever. I thought that was something that was right, and I think that's something that should have been done because Tom Cruise's point from the beginning of the movie is, yeah, they're capable of doing this, but they're not yet capable of doing it to where they can all come back.
Yeah,
they could have just gone in and carried the mission out and just expect maybe to lose a couple of them, but that was his intent, and I feel like if they would have tried to have a dramatic scene where somebody did die or somebody did crash, the whole meaning of Tom Cruise's character and his intentions would have been ruined. So I'm glad that they kept that consistent.
Yeah. And also, while I like that this movie, they're actually on a mission. Well, the first movie, it's basically who's trying to win, Top Gun. But this one, they're like, okay, we're risking our lives to go on this mission. Someone may not come back for this,
Mm-hmm.
But we were wrong. At the end, Maverick plane got shot, right? And
I thought if any of them were going to die, it would probably be him. I remember when we were in the theater before we walked in, we were making predictions on who was gonna die. What was your prediction?
I thought Rooster was going to die.
See, I figured that Rooster would be, close to crashing or something, or close to being shot, and Maverick would swoop in and sacrifice himself or whatever. And they kind of did that, but they did it to where he just kind of crash landed, and then Rooster was able to come back and save him. And I'm glad that they were able to do both. He was able to save Rooster, but they were also able to work together in the end, and they could both make it home.
Exactly. And also, I think the ending, what they did, it turned out really well. And also, they're stuck in this air base. It's not with Top Gun. It's with the Russians, I think. What's that?
Yeah, I was kind of confused by that in the movie. They didn't really. If they did, I didn't hear it. But they didn't really explain. Like, they said it was something like a nuclear something or other. But they didn't really explain whose it was or why it was dangerous, or I don't know. Maybe it's something with someone with military expertise would understand. I don't know, but I didn't think about it that much.
Yeah, and when Rooster came back and actually saved Maverick because he almost got killed the second time, right? And then he actually run up to Rooster because he was like, "Oh shoot, I think I might have got him killed," And then He's run up to him. I like him when he just pushes him. He's like, what were you thinking? He's like, you told me not to think.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part when he ran up to him and just shoved him.
Yeah, that was funny. He was like, I saved your life. He was like, I saved your life. It was going on in the scene. It was just hilarious, you know.
This is one of the first times in a while that I've been in a theater full of people and like they were very responsive to the movie. You know, a lot of movies like they have to throw in jokes here now and then, but does anybody like really like laugh a whole lot? I don't know. That I might be stretching there, but for a while I haven't been in a theater where people reacted to it the way they did when we saw Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, and the ending, it was a wild ending. Like the last hour of the movie, it was just wild. Like I was on the edge of my seat the whole entire time.
Yeah, I really liked Hangman's character. You know, he kind of seemed like the type that would, you know, go out of his way to try and be the big guy and end up, you know, like dying because of it, because of his own poor judgment or whatever. But in the end, I don't even want to say he redeemed himself because he was kind of a jerk at points, but he wasn't like a villain. He wasn't like an antagonist. But in the end, he was able to, you know, swoop in and contribute. So I like that every character and every character in it was great. There was a lot of new faces, but they all seemed to have their own characteristics, and I could remember their names. For one thing, that's another thing with a lot of movies, like you don't always remember people's names. But this one you could because they spent enough time developing the characters and allowing them to work together and without anything other than what the script needed. And that's what I really liked about this movie. It knew what it needed to be and it just did it. You know, it didn't try to be more. And sometimes that's all you need. And also, if any of that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And also the ending when they finally got back to the Top Gun air base, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Maverick's character said, instead of saying you can be my wingman anytime, he basically said, thank you for saving my life. And he said, that's what my dad would have done, you know?
Right. No, yeah, that was good. How those two characters were able to, you know, come to terms, or if that's the right phrase. Let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
Do you think that this movie will have the same legacy that the original has? Do you think that people will still be like sitting down and watching it 5, 10, 20 years later?
Possibly. I mean, honestly, I would watch Top Gun Maverick again. Like I said, most 30-plus year movies don't go as well, but this one, I will say, is, you know?
Yeah.
And
so, because I was actually thinking about this a day or so after we watched it. There's obviously, we talked about this with Seth Kirkman. They're remaking everything, and usually they don't go over that well, but people still go see it because it's what they recognize and they don't want to take a chance on something new. So even though they're not critically well received, they still make money because people are, you know, buying the tickets and sitting down. Right. That's all they need, really, honestly. With this one, critically well received, and it made, you know, very well at the box office. I was thinking, it's good that it was a good movie, but have they now figured out how to make a remake that makes money while at the same time a remake that people like? Because if they figure out how to do that, they'll do it with everything. And we will get well-received remakes, but at the same time, we'll still just be getting remakes. So I was thinking, would I rather the ones that they do make be good, or would I rather them all be bad so that they'll eventually stop making them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that this movie was good. And I do honestly, I think it was a great movie. But I still want things to change. I still want to see original movies. I still want to see big theaters promoting them, selling them, letting people watch them for more than 3 days. Whereas like Doctor Strange, they'll be showing that for like 4 months or so. And really, that's all I want. But on the topic of Top Gun Maverick, yes, great time. I really enjoyed it, and it was a great movie.
Yeah, start to finish. I won't lie, the ending did got cheesy, but it was fun cheesy. You know what I'm
It
saying?
was. I think it needed to be cheesy. Speaking of cheesy, I really did like the new characters, and if I had to pick one character who was whose acting wasn't the best, if I had to pick one, I would actually pick Tom Cruise because he was going for a lot of his acting was cheesy, and that might just be because he's a big actor and you recognize him, you don't recognize the character kind of thing. Maybe that's just me, but if I had to pick one, I would have liked to see if they do another Top Gun. Who knows? Maybe Tom Cruise might not even be in it. Maybe he'll let the new characters, finally have the spotlight. Would you like to see something like that?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know how would that work per se, because you gotta admit, no Top Gun without Tom Cruise. You know what I'm saying?
Who knows?
And kind of like how Hugh Jackman Wolverine. It's kind of like that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think it's a tricky call now, especially how they're going to do this one. Maybe Rooster in the near future might.
I really like Miles Teller, so I wouldn't mind seeing another Top Gun with him.
Maybe because Maverick and Rooster has a connection now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you think about it, there have been new iterations of characters or people who have taken the spot that was previously held by somebody else. We have Tom Holland now as Spider-Man, and I really like him as Spider-Man. I don't need to just see Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield for that matter. I like a variety, and I wouldn't mind as long as it's good. I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of when you were saying Tom Cruise, some of his actions been cheesy. They're not really cheesy. I mean, you gotta admit, Maverick is a different guy, And also,
his acting was a little cheesy.
Well, you gotta admit something. Some parts of the movie when he's thinking about something, right?
Right.
When one the colonel, I think, and he was like, "Don't give me that look." He was like, "It's the only one I got,"
Yeah.
And I want, and also. And Tom Cruise is a great actor. He's good. I mean, I will say this one again. He did not disappoint at all in this movie. So
he didn't disappoint. I'm just saying, if I had to pick one, ironically, it would be him. Now he is a good actor. He's been great in a lot of things. I'm just saying, in this movie, and you're right, his character is that way. But I've seen characters like that, and the acting was phenomenal. I'm not saying he was a bad actor in this movie by any means. I'm just saying if I had to pick one person in the movie who I didn't always buy what they were saying, what the emotion was, how they were reacting something, it was probably Tom Cruise. Probably because this was his passion project. He was really fighting for this movie to get made, and being so attached, maybe he was just trying too much. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why it felt a little cheesy. And I would rather see an actor try too much than not try at all.
Right. And also,
unless it's a bad movie and they hate the script and they're showing their disdain for it, that's usually pretty funny.
And also, they made this movie. They shoot this movie in 2019, but of course they had a delay because of coronavirus. And it should have come out in 2020, but it's basically a 2-year delay. They kept delaying it, which I'm finally glad this year, this Memorial Day weekend, it was meant to be.
Yeah, it was great timing. I wonder if they would have had it available in January. I wonder if they still would have waited till Memorial Day or later on, because I don't think January releases usually do that well.
Yeah, or November, because Veterans Day weekend.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been a good one too.
Maybe November 2021. That might have worked out. Who knows? But yeah, I'm glad they finally were able to give it the time that it needed. I'm glad it worked out well, because I mean, could you imagine waiting this long to get this movie out and it would have been crap and people would have hated it?
Yeah, that one.
I mean, it happens all the time, but
even critics, they even love this movie.
Yeah,
and also, I gotta brag. I know, Rachel right now, she hates me for this because she knows my mind right now is obsessed with the new Lady Gaga song that's playing on Top Gun, Hold My Hand.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'm not sure how anybody else feels about that. But honestly, this movie, the first Top Gun got a great soundtrack. I had nothing against soundtrack. This movie,
Yeah, and they brought it back
same
for
thing.
the beginning, right?
What's that?
They brought the song back for the beginning, right?
Oh, Danger Zone. Yep.
Danger Zone. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always heard that song. I never knew it was from. No, it wasn't written for Top Gun, was it? They just put it in, or
I
I
don't.
don't know.
I don't know the whole story, man. And also, and I'm glad they brought back Danger Zone. I think I had to for the opening scene of the movie. You know.
Yeah, I thought that was fitting.
So that worked out. That worked out. So, what do you think about the soundtrack in both movies?
I mean, it worked. It didn't really. I can't really like hum any of them, so I don't know. I mean, it wasn't bad. I like Danger Zone, and kind of like how I was talking about the Batman Arkham games in the last episode. It wasn't bad. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's forgettable, passable. You know, it did its job.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like the Back to the Future theme song or anything like that.
Yeah. And I listen. Three of my top three in the original is Danger Zone, Mighty Wayne's was playing the end credit scene, and Playing with the Boys. That happened in the volleyball scene. Oh, I gotta speak about this. In the first movie, volleyball scene. This movie is a beach scene, but it's with a football basically, and that's what I like about both versions. You know.
Yeah. Then Jennifer Connelly is asking him, what are they doing?" He's like, "I don't know. They're being a team or whatever." He said, "You know."
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
So, yeah, like I said, this movie great, start to finish. I loved it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth the big screen. It's definitely the best big screen experience I've seen in a long time. So,
Do you have any complaints or anything wrong with it? If you had to pick, like any nitpicks or anything like that.
you put me on the spot, Trent. Thanks. I don't know, man.
Maybe just like,
If I had to pick my biggest problem per se, probably when they both got lost, Maverick and Rooster, right? When they are running to get the other team's ship, I was like, they would have been killed if they wouldn't have been spotted. You know, there's no way they would. I will say that one. I will say that was not necessary, but
now that you bring that up, now this might be kind of like this might be unavoidable in a movie like this, but they did have a couple of like cliche moments. We've all seen the movie where, the plane goes down and then it goes silent and you think you're supposed to think they're dead or they crash or whatever. And then it goes back up. They did do that, for one part. And you also have the part where, Tom Cruise and Miles Teller, they hijack the plane. And,
I was saying, yep, that was the one.
yeah. And he's like, "You don't have enough runway." And he's like, "Watch me," or whatever. And then he goes and he's able to pull up. We've seen that scene before. I think like recently it was in like Midway, I want to say. I don't know. This movie was a lot better than Midway, so I'll give it that. It's just kind of like, stuff you'll always see in a movie with planes. Not really it doesn't hurt the movie in any way. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's not surprising when you find out that they make it out alive. Now there were parts, where you felt like real danger, but those parts, it's been done before. So
yeah, exactly. And we had a big crowd when we watched Top Gun. We went to the 1:00 showing last weekend, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then who's all in our group, Trent? I know
it was me, you, our girlfriends, Seth Kirkman, J-Bo.
Yep, J-Bo.
Throw back to the first episode.
Yep.
Karen came. Your parents.
Yep, my mom, dad. Dad, this is for you. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, and thank you for your service, Dad, and my brother too, and my sister-in-law. So, yeah, that's the reason why I thought this would be a good movie to have everybody go, especially if you're a veteran. So,
and they liked the movie, didn't they?
Yeah, they loved it.
Yep.
So
that's great. Yeah, I remember when me and Seth went and saw the Northman. There was like me, him, and maybe like a guy on his own, and then a guy and his grandma behind us. And Yeah, it was one of the smaller theaters, and not very many people at all. And when we were walking out, the old lady said, "Well, that's not quite what I was expecting."
Yeah, it is what it
Whatever.
is.
At least it was original.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I didn't expect like everybody showing up for 30 plus years later,
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah, I just when I saw that, I was like, "Dang gum,"
especially since it's been advertised for so long. You think people would move on or forget about it, but yeah,
It worked out well.
yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, great everything, great soundtrack. Yeah, loved it. Ratings on Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun.
Yeah,
I would give them both a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Ah, jeez, man, who I'm talking?
That's a good rating. It's a good rating.
I know.
I have 8, 9s, and 10s that are just like complete, like they're in a different category.
Me, the original Top Gun, 8 out of 10. This one, since I loved it, 9 out of 10.
So, do you have anything specific that you liked better about this one than the original?
Tough
Don't mean to
call.
put you on the spot, but yeah, I mean,
Tough call.
do you think it's just like how satisfying it was to see them all back and everything?
I think it's more like they're actually fighting for their lives. In the original movie, they're just fighting to win. This one, they're actually fighting to get the other team.
True, yeah. And in this one, it's not like, oh, there's a few characters who are disposable. No, everybody has to make it back. That's the whole point.
Yep.
And I like that. It's very rare you get a movie like this where somebody doesn't die, basically. I mean, of course, there's Val Kilmer, but he wasn't. That was a completely different circumstance.
Right.
So
Rest in peace. So,
yeah.
Well, Iceman, rest in peace. So, well, that's pretty much all we got when it comes to Top Gun Maverick. Great movie, definitely worth the big screen movie experience. So
yeah, I was satisfied.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Doctor Strange.
Different categories. Doctor Strange is very fun.
So anyway,
I do think it's better. Yeah, sure. I'll say that. I do like Doctor Strange though. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness specifically, and I do like the original Doctor Strange too. I think it's underrated.
Yep,
but I can't get into that now.
No. At the movie, I thought you told me it was 8 out of 10.
Oh, Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a little time to reflect.
Yeah, Trent, he likes to change his ratings all the time. Me, I just stick with 1.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if you automatically give something that you're emotionally invested in because you're walking out of the theater, if you automatically give it a high rating of like a 9 out of 10 or something like that, and then later on you see something that's way better, you're like, okay, so is this movie a 10 out of 10? Well, I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because there are some things wrong with it, but it is better than something else. And so I don't know, you really got to, I really got to think about my ratings to make everything fair and consistent.
Well,
so to me, a 7 out of 10 isn't bad,
Right. Like me, a 7 out of 10, it just depends, but that's it. But like, kind of like for me, when just Top Gun Maverick and No Time to Die, I give both of them a 9. But like I said, I got to think about it a little bit. But they're still both a 9 out of 10. But I'm trying to debate which one I like better. I think I'm leaning towards Top Gun Maverick. But
right, because didn't you say like Batman and Robin was a 6 out of 10? But then you said like The Dark Knight Rises was also a 6 out of 10. So does that mean like they're both?
No. I did not say that. That was Seth.
Oh, okay.
Steph said that. No.
Okay.
No, I give Batman Begins 7.
No, you gave the Batman with Robert Pattinson. You gave that one a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you think the Batman is as bad as Batman and Robin?
Actually, my least favorite is Batman Forever, honestly. But
well, I mean, so I would give like the Batman and Robin. I would give that like a 1. Like, I mean, or like a 2. I think a 6 is way too high. Right. Do you have any 1 out of 10s? Or really like what's like one of your least favorite movies?
I'm trying to think, man. I mean, I'll tell you, if I rate something 1 out of 10, that means it's very forgettable, and I don't.
I've never heard you rate something at 1 out of 10, so I'm curious.
Probably the new Boss Baby.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Recently,
yeah.
And also probably I gotta say the remake of Child's Play. That one's horrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen the original Child's Play. Never watched any of the Chucky sequels, and I didn't see the remake or the show. They made a show, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Name a couple. So
Yeah.
anyway, well, Trent, you got any final words?
You can be my wingman anytime.
Acceptable. Trent, you can also be my
Acceptable.
wingman anytime. So
I'll think about it.
right. Also, while we're watching it, the very last preview, it was the new Mission Impossible. It comes out next year. I was like, next year? Why now?
That was a very interesting teaser. Very not a whole lot of dialogue. I thought that was pretty cool, and I didn't know it was going to be a part 1 and part 2, so that was pretty surprising when the part 1 showed up and you see him like jump off a cliff and assuming he's like diving or like skydiving or something like that.
More so,
like a base jumping type thing.
Yeah. Well, I like all the Mission Impossible movies. I know you haven't seen them yet, but
not yet.
Yeah, especially you like Tom Cruise. You still haven't seen those.
I like A Few Good Men. I like A Few Good Men.
Once again, I haven't seen that movie in a while, so
yeah. Few Good Men is great. Anything written by Aaron Sorkin is usually, fantastic. Right. I grew up with War of the Worlds. I think that was the first movie I saw with Tom Cruise in it. And
that was mine. Yep.
That was one of the movies that when I was a kid that scared the crap out of me. So yeah, looking back, good times. I really like it. I'm gonna have to watch that one again.
Yeah.
See if it still holds up. I love Spielberg, but he hasn't really come out with a lot that I've really seen lately.
Right. And also, definitely check out the Mission Impossible, Trent. Really.
So. Yep. I'll watch the Mission Impossibles in preparation for Mission Impossible. What's it called? The new one?
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. So.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, he's a wild man. So.
You gotta be. You gotta be to do what he does.
Yeah, he does his own stunts. So.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, well.
Hopefully, there's a part 2.
What's there going to be? They're filming it right now, so.
I know, but it's Tom Cruise likes to do his own stunts, so I'm just saying. Hopefully, there's a part 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they can make a part 2.
Yeah, definitely. Because in Fallout, the Mission Impossible Fallout, the 6th movie, the one Superman was in it, he broke his ankle during the movie. So.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, guys, this has been our episode of our review of Top Gun Maverick for the After School Podcast. Tom Cruise, you did it again. Good job. So, well, this is Jesse Johns.
And this is Trent Kelsey. And away we go.
Goodbye.